Last time on Venom / Miles Morales / Absolute Carnage, Venom met Null, the god of the symbiotes, and he battled against him while meeting up with Miles Morales. That is how Venom and Miles Morales actually met. Miles went off on his own adventures, and then Venom ended up battling against Carnage, being controlled by Null, the god of the symbiotes symbiote known as Grendel. Eventually, the battle turned into Venom and Spider-Man having to go off and find different individuals, with Venom deciding that he had to find all the lowlifes while Spider-Man was recruiting all of the heroes. Venom was led to Mac Gargan, which is where he ended up seeing Miles Morales and Mac Gargan battling against Carnage. Well, I bet you want to know what actually happened to Miles Morales on that storyline. That is this story right here, and it's going to start before Carnage shows up and then cross into the Carnage event. If you want to know the entire Absolute Carnage event, click the link down below for the playlist. Otherwise, let's move forward. You have found yourself at the Comicstorian channel, where we take some of your favorite pop culture universes and break down the stories within into audio dramas, allowing you to keep up with them while on a long drive or just passing your night away. And today's video is brought to you by Mack Weldon, a high-quality clothing brand that I myself and many members of the office wear right here all the time. As a matter of fact, we've been ordering Mack Weldon t-shirts for about 2 years now, so when they came at us with this sponsorship, we kind of felt it was a rather easy blend. So the shirts you always see me in, the plain black ones, those are always Mack Weldon shirts. But they also have the lounge pants. We've also got their gym shorts, their socks, and their nifty individual branding on their socks. But either way, we're a huge fan of Mack Weldon here in the office, and let me tell you a little bit more about what they offer, and then we'll get into the video. Mack Weldon has top quality shirts, sweatshirts, pants, shorts, underwear, socks, and many more great clothing items. With all the years that I've been wearing Mack Weldon, I can attest to the amazing quality and comfortability of their clothing. Buying clothing from their website is super easy, and shipping is super quick, getting you that great look in no time. You'll even be saving 20% off your first order when you use the code Comicstorian at checkout, giving you an amazing look for an amazing price. My favorite items from their selection is the incredibly comfy and easy to move in t-shirts, which I use for casual wear at most days of the week. So head on over to MackWeldon.com and use the code Comicstorian at checkout for 20% off of your order. That's MackWeldon.com and use the code Comicstorian at checkout for 20% off of your order to start looking your best today. And there you have it. That is Mack Weldon, and today we're covering Absolute Carnage, Miles Morales 1 through 3. Along the streets of Soho in New York City, the young hero Miles Morales is brought to his knees, and all it took was a pair of sneakers. He stands there staring at the window, telling himself that he must have them. He will have them! And Genki asks him how he'll do that. They cost $300. Has he ever even had $300 at one time? It's not like money just falls from the... But before Genki could finish his sentence, there's a loud explosion, and money begins to rain from the sky. As the two try to figure out how this could be happening, down the road, an armored truck crashes into a sign, and Scorpion yells, "You could have given up the goods nice and easy, but now the Scorpion has to hurt you." Scorpion climbs up onto the hood of the truck, telling the driver that he may have lied. He doesn't have to hurt him, but he wants to. Just before Scorpion could strike with his tail, it's pulled back with webbing, and Miles tells him, "I know how it is wanting things that you can't afford, but you can't take it out on innocent people." Miles begins to web up Scorpion, but before he can finish, Scorpion tears through it, shouting, "I'm gonna kill you!" He whips his tail around, grabbing Miles by the leg, throwing him down the street. Miles gets back up, telling him, "Okay, that one hurt." Scorpion charges at Miles, asking if the Spider-Man Jr. is still breathing. "Let's change that." As Scorpion gets close, Miles jumps up, shocking Scorpion with a venom blast, stunning him just long enough to web him back up, slamming him into the ground. Scorpion whips his tail again, but as Miles knocks him to the ground, he asks, "Can't you just give up? It's raining and..." But Scorpion wipes his mouth, telling him, "You must not know Mac Gargan. But before he could finish, dozens of Carnage thralls rush at the two of them, yelling, "Gargan, Gargan, Gargan!" The thralls of Carnage all pile onto Scorpion, with Miles starting to pull them off, stating, "I can't let you eat this guy! He's on his way to jail!" However, as Miles throws one of the Carnage thralls off, they all look at him yelling, "Kill, kill!" And Miles sighs, telling them, "Great, now I got their attention." As Miles and Scorpion lean back to back, Miles tells them, "These guys are trying to kill us both. Truce?" Scorpion scoffs, telling him, "For now we do." The two fight the thralls back, with Miles asking, "Who the hell are these people?" And Scorpion tells him, based off the orange uniforms of the inmates of Ravencroft, the place where the real cycles are put. In fact, the huge one there is the same tattoo as Happy Dan Andrews. Miles punches the thrall, asking, Happy Dan Andrews? As in Happy Dan the serial killer? He looks to take a closer look at the thralls, noticing a spiral pattern on their heads, one that he saw when he fought Venom. As more and more thralls begin to pile up, Miles asks, can we do this without killing them? And Scorpion throws a thrall, asking, where's the fun in that? The thralls begin to overwhelm the two of them, and Scorpion yells, well, I've had enough of this. The only way I'm gonna make it out is if we slow these creeps down. But before Miles' spider sense could kick in, Scorpion smacks Miles down with his tail and begins to escape. Before he could get far, a voice tells Scorpion, that was dumb. The kid could have helped you against, well, me. Miles looks up to see Carnage perched on a van, but with his current injuries, he's even struggling to move. As Scorpion runs, Carnage shoots out his fingers, grabbing him, asking, and where are you going? There's still an itsy-bitsy piece of you inside of me. Carnage pulls his arm back, lifting Scorpion into the air, telling him, we're just gonna have to take your spine out so we can get to it. Carnage slowly stabs his fingers into Scorpion's side, with Miles yelling, no! And he hits Carnage with a venom blast. Carnage screams in pain and Scorpion yells, I gotta get the hell out of here. But that's when another voice tells Scorpion, Carnage won't kill you, not if you come along. Scorpion looks up to see Venom looming over him, but before Miles could even say a word, Venom picks up Scorpion and escapes, leaving Miles alone with Carnage. Carnage gets back up and Miles says, sure, it's just me now. That'll be enough. But Carnage tells him, haha, don't worry. This will be the last time you'll ever be alone again. It's time to bring you into the fold, Spider-Man Jr. Just then, dozens of tendrils shoot across the street and begin to cover Miles until the weight of it brings him to the ground. He begins to fight it off by ripping them off of him, but Carnage watches, stating, he's strong. I can feel him trying to fight, but it's no use. It's time for him to become what he really is. A perfect little monster. Just then, Miles claws his way out of the Carnage and symbiote tendrils as one of Carnage's newest thralls. Miles' vision begins to fade to black, and he begins to see everyone in his life slowly fade away. He was bound by stupid little ties to stupid little lives. But now, he's been reborn in this flesh, and he's become a part of something new. He has found his true family. All that remains is the dead spirit of his former self. It tries to regain control, begging for its body back, crying a hopeless cry. Their father, Null through Carnage, has destroyed the little lives they lived before being transformed. And now they are their true selves. Carnage looks down at the transformed Miles, asking, and how are you feeling today? You look like you're ready to kill a man, which is good, because I'm going to be sending you to kill a man. He's a real pain, one of those whose death will sow confusion and fear in those around him. Take Happy Dan and go get it done. As Carnage finishes speaking, the transformed Miles can hear his former self struggling to break free. The cries are smothered and pushed down, though. The symbiote is winning against Miles' own internal spirit. There's no room for weakness in their father's perfect design. They are sure in their purpose. They have been pointed at prey, and so they hunt! As the two make their way over the Brooklyn Bridge, Miles remembers a time when he was younger with his Uncle Aaron. The transformed Miles tells himself again that the dead spirit of this flesh is trying to rise, and again, they smash it to nothingness. Soon the target appears in a building, the man that Carnage wants dead, and that man is Jonah Jameson. Miles and Happy Dan crash through the window screaming, kill, kill, and they begin tearing their way towards Jonah. Jonah tells the man that he's with to run. Those freaks are always after me. As Miles and Happy Dan jump through the offices, Jonah runs through telling everyone to evacuate the building. There is no time to explain. Just do it! But before Jonah could get out, Miles and Happy Dan jump on him, pinning him down, yelling, kill, kill. Jonah looks at them, telling them, whoever the hell you're working for, you gotta want something, right? Whatever it is, we can. But before Jonah could finish, Miles is shot in the head as Silver Sable says, don't you worry, Mr. Jameson. Volt Communications is under our protective services. Happy Dan leaps into the group of security guards, ripping away at their chests, shouting, kill! Miles lunges at Sable, and as the two begin to fight, Happy Dan gets up after killing the last guard, yelling, kill! The two take turns hitting Silver Sable, and she falls to the ground with Miles getting in position to kill her. But before he could, a stapler is thrown at his head, and Jonah yells, Leave the young lady alone, you degenerate lump of toxic waste. It's with that hit that Miles Morales, the real Miles Morales, begins to try and take control of his body again. This isn't him. He can barely remember his name, but this isn't him. He knows that. As Miles runs off, he begins to yell, "Not me!" And Happy Dan follows, asking, "Kill?" Miles hurries outside, telling himself his name over and over, Miles Morales, Miles Morales. He's trying to make his transformed self remember. And Happy Dan asks, "No kill?" Miles tells him, "No kill. We've done some bad things, but this isn't us. We're still human beings." Happy Dan pauses. He's telling him, "I can feel them inside. I can feel them." Just then, Happy Dan is shot in the back with Sable yelling, "You're not getting away that easily." Miles screams, webbing up Sable's gun, taking it away from her. And once she's disarmed, he proceeds to beat into her again. As the three set of arms punch her down, the transformed Miles stops, feeling his former self clawing his way in, making them hesitate. The symbiote version of Miles knocks Sable away, stating, "I will not let the dead spirit rise again!" And he charges at Jonah Jameson. As Miles jumps down onto Jonah, he sinks his teeth into his shoulder, and he says, "This is it! We are ourselves again!" The blood begins to fill Miles' mouth, and he knows that it is not his blood. And seconds later, he pushes Jonah off, shouting, "No kill!" Jonah tells him that he can see that he's struggling. He doesn't have to do this. The symbiote Miles shouts in his mind that they have to smother the spirit with the inevitability of null. But his former self shouts, "I won't let this happen!" Miles Morales and the symbiote Miles begin to battle inside his mind, struggling for power, with Miles charging up his venom blast and hitting himself in the chest. The shock causes the Carnage symbiote to release, returning Miles to his former self. Sable gets up and begins to help Jonah back inside, but that's when Happy Dan stands up. "Kill?" Miles tells him, No kill. I'm free of this thing. We can get rid of yours too." Happy Dan yells, "Free? Not fair! Not fair!" Happy Dan throws himself into Miles, sending the two of them off of the building onto the roof of another one. They land in a pool with Miles scrambling to get out, telling Happy Dan that he needs to fight this. "You could be your own, psycho killer." But back with Sable and Jonah, Sable tends to Jonah's bite and tells him to stay put. She's gonna get some help. As she begins to step away, the symbiote that was attached to Miles crawls onto Jonah, converting him into symbiote J. Jonah Jameson, a thrall of Carnage. He stands back up, shouting, "Kill, kill!" Over with Miles, he keeps Happy Dan at a distance, telling him that they can work this out. "You might be a killer, but you're your own killer." Happy Dan asks, "No kill?" "No kill, no kill, no kill." Miles tells him, That's it, just." But before he could finish, Jonah jumps down onto the building, slamming Happy Dan's head into the ground, tossing him over the ledge. Miles runs over to try and grab Happy Dan, but Jonah stops him, and the two go over the ledge onto another building. Miles quickly jumps out of the pool, stating that he would love to stay behind and whoop his ugly behind, but he's got a life to save. Miles swings down to the lower part of the building to see Happy Dan laying there. And as he checks his pulse, he's happy to see that Happy Dan is still alive. And to make sure that he doesn't run off, Miles webs him up with enough webbing to stop the Hulk. Maybe. Miles then jumps down onto the streets to try and find Jonah, and after a few seconds, he does spot him. The two begin to battle, but as a passerby with headphones walks past, Jonah turns his attention to the kid. Before Jonah can hit him, though, Miles throws himself into Jonah, knocking the two of them into the shoe store that Miles was at earlier. Miles pins Jonah down, telling him, "This is it." And he hits him with a venom blast, stunning the Carnage symbiote. Miles gets off trying to catch his breath, telling him that should do it. And the store owner runs over asking if he's okay, with Miles telling him, "Yeah, I'm real sorry about your window." The owner tells him it's fine. The insurance will cover it. But as for these shoes, they aren't mint anymore. Do you want some sneakers? The owner holds them out, telling him to think of them as a token of appreciation for everything he does in New York. But at that moment, the symbiote releases its grip on Jonah and it begins to make its escape. Miles quickly follows, stating that this is the only link that he has to Carnage. And since he was able to break it from its control before, maybe he can. Miles grabs the symbiote, pressing it against himself, letting it take control of him, taking his own symbiote. His body twists and it warps as the symbiote covers him, but his mind is his own. He stands back up in full control of the symbiote's suit, stating, "All right, Carnage, here we come." And boom, we've got a Miles Venom symbiote situation going on. This is going to be fun, isn't it? I hope you guys enjoyed the spin-off title in the Absolute Carnage series, explaining exactly what happened to Miles after we left him on that cliffhanger. Next up, we've got Absolute Carnage number 3, and then we're going to be covering the Deadpool one. So if you want to get those stories, make sure you subscribe to this channel to see what we do here on a regular basis. We like to keep you up on your favorite pop culture universe, be it whatever happens out there, comic books, video games, just tell you all the storylines inside of it so that you know what's going on in your busy day. You can find me on Twitter at Comicstorian, where we can chat about whatever you want. And I guess that's it. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys who takes the time to watch our videos. I really do. And I'll see you next time right here.